Cannabis, culture, real talk. Welcome to the Kronik Break. Before we get started, quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a financial advisor. Everything discussed on this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and follow the laws where you live. Welcome to the Kronik Break. Quick note before we start. If you've been following, you've noticed the name change. The Kronik Break is where we're bringing the structured and educational side of things. Cannabudz Connection is still with us, but that's where we're going to go into deeper conversation with podcasts and live episodes. Same message, just organized the right way. This is where we break down cannabis the real way. No hype, no shortcuts, just the facts you can actually use. Now, in the last episode, we talked about where Louisiana stands on cannabis and the laws around it. But today we're getting into something even more important. How to actually do this the right way. Because yeah, you can get access in Louisiana, but if you don't do it properly, you still end up in a bad situation real quick. So we're going to walk through this step by step, simple, clear, and legal. First, you have to understand how Louisiana looks at cannabis. This is not a recreational state. You can't just decide one day, I'm going to go grab something and walk into a dispensary like you see in other states. Louisiana treats cannabis as a medical use only. That means access is controlled, monitored, and tied to your health, not just personal choice. And that's important because a lot of people assume things based on what they see online or in other states. And that's where people get themselves in trouble. So before anything else, you've got to respect the process because the right way protects you. The wrong way can cost you. Step one, talk to a doctor. And let's be clear here. In Louisiana, you're not getting a prescription like you would for other medications. You're getting a recommendation from a licensed physician. The doctor's basically saying, based on your conditions, you qualify to use medical cannabis. Now, this can be your regular doctor, or it can be a clinic that focuses on medical cannabis evaluations. Either way, this step matters because this is what separates you from being legal or not. And I'll say this, don't try to cut corners here. Don't try to go around the system because everything that comes around goes around. Because everything that comes after this depends on doing this part the right way. Once you're approved, your doctor enters your recommendation into the Louisiana system. And this is where Louisiana is a little different from other states. There's no physical cord. You're not walking around with something in your wallet. Everything is tracked digitally. So when you go to the pharmacy, they already know you're approved. The information is already there. And that's why accuracy matters. Because this system is what protects you legally, but only if you're actually in it. Step two, choose your pharmacy. In Louisiana, they're called dispensaries. And this is where you'll actually go to purchase your cannabis. Not every location carries the exact same products, and not every experience is the same. But the process is, you show up with your valid ID, they verify you in the system, and from there you're able to make your purchase legally. Some locations let you order online ahead of time. Some are more in-person focused. But either way, this is your legal access point, not the street, not your friend, not guessing, the dispensary. When it comes to buying, the process is pretty straightforward, but still regulated. You can usually browse products online or in person. You'll see things like flower, vapes, edibles, tinctures, depending on what's available. But here's what matters. Everything you purchase is tracked. Everything is regulated. And everything ties back to your recommendation. So again, this isn't random. This is controlled access. And once you understand that, it makes the whole process smoother. Now let's have some real talk for a second. Just because you're legal in Louisiana doesn't mean you're free everywhere. No public use, no lighting up wherever you feel like it, no crossing state lines with it, and no assuming that just because another state has cannabis, they recognize Louisiana. That's how people mess up. It's not worth it. Do it the right way, stay within the law, protect yourself. Let's take a second and talk about where the boot stands on cannabis. Louisiana is still a medical only state, which means access comes through a doctor's recommendation, not recreational sales. That system is there to regulate, track, and protect patients, but it only works if it's followed correctly. Once you're approved, you can legally purchase from a licensed dispensary with everything connected through the state system. But that protection stays inside Louisiana. Once you cross state lines, you're stepping into federal territory. So stay informed, stay aware, and always check official sources like Louisiana Department of Health for updates. Now let's get back to it. If this helped you understand the process, stay locked in. We're not just talking about cannabis, we're talking about doing it the right way. This is the Kronik Break. You ready for deeper conversations? Tap into Cannabudz Connection. Cannabis, culture, real talk. Stay golden.